Welcome back to Good Knit Kisses. I'm your host Kristen, and today I'm finishing up filming a tutorial. So you're here just for kind of a sip and see, watch and see, sit and knit and watch whatever you want to do. But I'm finishing up the second part. I had to cut it short so you can catch the part 1 tutorial as well from earlier today. So what I'm doing now is I'm going to add on this yarn here. So I'm going to go back into my mode of teaching as if it's a future tutorial. And again, I'm just getting people hop on now, so I'm just going to kind of say it one more time for you guys catching. But I'm working on this basket. This is a part 2 of the tutorial that I started this morning. So if you want to check all the instructions for part 1, just check that earlier, and you'll see a tutorial at some future point for all of this combined together up on YouTube. So I'm going to continue on, and I'm adding this yarn in here. All right, so if you'll let anybody know who joins in. Hi, Bridget. She's back. Awesome. Okay, here I go. I'm going into tutorial mode here. Okay, I've grabbed my second yarn here, and I've got my loops, 2 loops on my hook. I want to go ahead and just pull this second color in, your contrast color for this 2-tone basket. And now I'm going to chain 1, 2, whoops, 1, 2, and now we're going to single crochet, we're going to double crochet into this first stitch just as before. Okay, you know what, let me start this over because I'm already starting over, y'all. It's too tight. I mean, it's not tight enough. All right, so yeah. Okay, here we go. I'm just going to make this tighter. All right, so I've grabbed my second color and I'm going to be pulling it on through, but I need to make a slip stitch and pull this on through because I need this color to be all wrapped together, and then now I'm going to pull this through to make my second color. And then go ahead and chain up. 1, 2, and we're going to do a double crochet in this stitch. And do another double crochet, and you can trap this yarn in here and pull it on through. Okay. And then just keep going. You're going to skip 1, 2, and go into this first stitch here and do the single crochet, double, double. So we're doing our textured stitch. And continue on the same pattern. And I'll meet you back at the end. Okay, so I'm doing a tutorial. This is for live viewers. This comment was for live viewers. I started this tutorial earlier this morning, and then I had to take my daughter to the doctor, and so I'm just continuing this on. The size hook is a US 50 or a US U, and it's a 25 millimeter. This particular one is a Tunisian hook. So if you get Tunisian, it says US 50. If you get one that's a regular crochet hook, then it'll say a size U. But both of them will say 25 millimeter. And this yarn is a 7. I'm using the Bernat Blanket Big yarn. You can also get at Hobby Lobby. They have a Jumbo 7 yarn, but I don't remember what it's called. It looks near identical, but the balls are smaller. The balls of yarn are smaller, and Look, you can see this knot. This is where they join the yarn here. Look at that. I'm hoping it'll get hidden. I'm going to see if I can get it hidden into the inside of the basket. I don't like joining the yarn with the knots, but sometimes they have to do that at the mill. I understand. So look, that head towards the back here. I'm not worried about the inside of the basket. So there's 32 yards on a ball for the Bernat, and there's 28 yards for the one from Hobby Lobby. The Bernat big balls I got at Michael's. I think they're exclusive to Michael's. And then Hobby Lobby has them from, I think it's Yarn Bee. Yeah, so for you guys who were asking about my daughter who heard me while I'm in the pause mode for the main tutorial, and this is kind of in between, I'll kind of talk about it. Hey, plus there's an airplane, so I'm filling the time. Yeah, we just went and saw a specialist, and he said that her ligament in the back is, thankfully it didn't have to be popped into place or anything, but because of the way it stretched, it like chipped a piece of her bone off. And it was showing up in the x-ray. And then, so she's gonna have to have therapy on her hands, physical therapy 3 times a week. And he prescribed her some other things to help pain and stuff like that. And then like a topical one, which is good, that doesn't go in the bloodstream, which is good. And then, anyway, and some other stuff. And then, he said that he did like a buddy tape where like 2 fingers are taped together like here and here, because she has a, like back, it's her middle finger on her right hand, like back here there's a chip on the bone that came off, but the ligament is good and intact, which is good, but it's like super hurts here and she can barely move it. Like she can only move about that far before hurting. So she was trying to catch a football from her friend in PE and just messed up, and it bent backwards and jammed and whatnot, and pretty painful. It's like a shooting pain. So they said it takes like a few months for the actual inflammation to go away, but the next 4 to 6 weeks is the part where we need to do therapy, and then she's gonna ice it and do all the other stuff. So that's what's going on. She's being brave about it. Okay, so I've come to the end. I've got a gap here, and now I'm going to connect these with a slip stitch like that, and then I'm going to chain up 1, 2, and then we're going to start our row again where we just double crochet in that first stitch there. And then do it again. And continue by skipping over 2 and single crocheting in the next one. And you're going to do another round. Just keep going, and I'll meet you back at the end of this round, and we'll do one more round. Jessica, how do you hide or join the ends? I'm just pulling them through on a single crochet stitch or a chain, and then I weave the ends in later. And I showed it on the part 1 video, and I may have to show it on this one too, depending upon how far I get. Now this basket, the way I've done it, there's 2 ways you could do this basket, and I can do another one, but I'm calling this the Bumpy Basket. And so it's going to have this cool little, I'm making it to be unique. So it's going to bump out on the bottom, on the base, and then come up. So the other way you could do it is if you make the circle base that I did, and then you make a separate sort of a cowl design, and then sew it to attach to get more of a cylinder look. Which would be fun too if anybody wants that one. I could do that. I got plenty of this yarn. This reminds me of like one of those jelly jars or jam that kind of bubbles out at the base and then comes up. Anyone ever want to have one of those? Like a gourmet style, or like a hand cream jar or something. You want to crochet again, this basket, Bridget? I like this yarn. This is the pale gray, and in this light, it kind of reminds me of oatmeal. And in person, it looks like oatmeal, but like a good one. It has a little bit of a salt and peppery look to it, but I think it's just the shadow here. Oh, wow, that's really, wow. That's interesting. Look at that. That was on it. This must be what it's like on the inside. Look at that. These look like cotton strands. What was I doing? How about making a travel bag with the yarn? I don't know that I would make a travel bag with this one. In fact, I know I wouldn't. This yarn is this one, Bernat Blanket Big. I don't know if you want to call it Bernat Blanket or Bernat Big Blanket. I want to call it Big Bernat Blanket yarn because they call it Bernat Blanket yarn, blanket yarn. But anyway, that's how they do it. Bernat Blanket Big. And it's Jumbo number 7, and it's 100% polyester. It's 32 yards, and yeah, and it also recommends a 25mm hook. Gayla, if you had that happen to you, I would contact Yarnspirations, like write them on their page, send them a private message. If you have pictures, it'd probably be even better, and they might be able to direct you to the best place for it, but I'm wondering if they would actually send you some. I don't know, or you could see about taking it up to Michael's or whatever. Because if it's super full of that, then you definitely need it replaced, because that's some pretty expensive yarn. And while it may happen every so often, they should be able to replace that for you. I mean, it's $10 a ball. So, unless you get it on sale, but that's still expensive. Usually if it's on sale, it's a few dollars off. Okay, so I'm coming up to my last one on this round. Just gonna connect it again with a slip stitch. chain up 1, 2, double crochet in the first stitch, and then continue with the texture stitch. Gayla, you got this yarn at Walmart? Really? I thought you had to get it at Michael's with this Stitch and Win thing. I thought that was exclusive to Michael's. Unless there's a generic one at Walmart I don't know about, in which case I would love to know about it. So let us be in the know. You know, I did this one funny. I think I went into the wrong stitch. Oh, stop. Here we go. Gayla, yeah, this yarn is the big yarn, but the one that's using the stitch along was the regular blanket yarn. And it is carried at different stores besides Joann's, which is where the stitch along is for, but Joann's had exclusive colors, and so they were working with Bernat or Yarn Inspirations to do that stitch along. I gotta get another ball. Hold on. I pull the wrapper off. I showed this on the last one. I pull the wrapper off, and then I take this ball and I squish it like that, and then I just pull the end out, and I work from the outside because this yarn doesn't pull from the center very well. It works better when pulled from the outside. So I'm gonna get on my second ball here, and you can tie it. I mean, I'll show you tying it if you want to tie it. You just make your knot, and so far I've used 2 balls of each color. Some people do, they put their hand towels in a basket in their bathroom, and use that, and then reuse their hand towels that are washable. And like my mom actually does that instead of having, anyway, it just kind of, it actually helps for germs and all that kind of stuff, keeping it down. And then she just launders them. And so she keeps in a basket the, she has a basket for the clean and a basket for the dirty. And so, you know, you can throw your dirties or your cleans in here. You could like roll them up all pretty, you know. So if you made a bunch of handmade washcloths, you could use that. And then this could be laundered if you needed to. But I would, you know, I'd probably hand wash it or something. Or put it on the delicate cycle. I think it's got some care instructions on the ball band, the wrapper. Okay, so I'm gonna do a slip knot, or I'm not a slip, sorry. I'm gonna do a slip stitch to join this here. Okay, and I'm gonna put on another color. Actually, let me go back. Sorry. I meant to pull in the new color here. I'm going to break this yarn. So I'm going to go in to pull in another color here. I'm going to break the yarn. And one more. This is the last row. So I'm going to put in, this is the other way I color change here. So I can put it in for the slip stitch. I just go straight in, and then I pull through my yarn, and then I pull through again, and so it gets it even closer to this top edge. Okay, and then you can lay this on the top here, and then I'm going to go in and do a let's see, do a single crochet along the top. Just go in every stitch and single crochet. And I'll meet you back at the end. Okay, I've got to change my angle here. Hi, Joanne. That coffee sounds good. realize how hard it was going to be to do the basket height on the way I'm doing this filming this video. I would have set my camera higher. Okay, so let's just keep going. Sorry, we've got water running in the background, but that's okay. We're in between. Oh, my arms are tired. Hold on before I do anything. Okay. So I'm at the end, and I've got this little space here. I'm just going to go into this first stitch here and go through and slip it. And then I'm going to break the yarn. Oh, you thought I was making a pet bed? Well, I guess you could make it a pet bed. Actually, it could have stayed the way it was before I even changed colors, and it could be like a little pet bed. So, okay, so I'm gonna weave this in, and hold on, I got to get the camera set off. I've got to move some things and get some stuff done. Hold on, off camera. Hold a moment. Okay. Okay. What you're not seeing me do right now, and I'm going to show you, show and talk about it in a second, but I made a slight change. I thought I might do this, but I didn't want to say it in the beginning. But I'm going to say it now. I flipped this inside out, and then it actually helps it hold its shape better. So I'm going to kind of show y'all that, but I'm waiting on some background noise. So if you'll just bear with me just for a minute. Okay. All right, so what I've done is I've pulled those, whoops, oh my gosh, what's up with this yarn today? I'm waiting for extra noises, so hold on. Okay. Okay, so what I've done is off camera, I have flipped this basket inside out to make it hold a more upright shape. And then I'm gonna take all my tails and push them to the inside to weave them in. And I've got some tails that I had originally was gonna have to the outside, to the inside, and I'm gonna push them back inward. And then I'll weave them in by hand. So I'm gonna push them out this way. And now I'm looking in the inside, and then the way that I would weave those tails in is just, honestly, it's by hand. So you can come back through these stitches here and start weaving them in using your fingers. And we talked earlier about having like a hard felt or probably like a leather. If you have like a leather crafting place, Tandy Leather, I don't know how if they're near anybody or your craft store or something, you could get like a nice stiff piece to put inside. If you had something to come up and make the columns around it, then you could totally do that to make it stiffer. But this makes a nice, really cuddly basket, and maybe even like you could put a bunch of baby toys in it and keep it in the living room or whatnot. So it's really just squishy, but you could even put another round circle on it, make another magic circle and stitch that in and fill it up and make yourself a like one of those ottomans, those little fluffy ottomans. So once you start putting all these, weaving all these in, and you've got your basket, and I'm gonna have to move my camera so you can see it. So just push all this in and stand it upright, and I'll show you in a minute what it looks like. I'm trying to move my camera back. Actually, see if I can get that like that. There we go. This is the basket. So this is it, and it has this like really bubbly, now it's gonna be stiffer. I actually am pretty loose with this, so if you're a little tighter or your finger crocheting it, then yours is going to be a little bit tighter. So you can feel free to be as tight as you want. The tighter you are, it actually does make it stiffer, because I have worked this stitch before much tighter, and I was intentionally trying to be loose this time, trying to see. Now the first part I wasn't on my magic circle. I was trying to get that really tight, but on this outside part, I wanted to see how it would happen if I did it too loose. So anyway, it's really cool and bumpy. You could do it all one color if you wanted. I just thought I'd do a cool two-tone effect and then see what this little stitching looked like. So that's the basket, and it's pretty large. It's probably 2 feet in circumference. Here's the bottom. So we did a big magic circle like this. And you've got the magic circle here, and then it got bigger, and then the row 1 is this first part that's really bumpy. So you see how it bumps out like this? And so you could make another magic circle here and then fill it up and then stitch it on top. So that is the other way to do it. You can also do the magic circle and then make 6 rows of the marshmallow crochet baby blanket, 6 rows high, and then stitch on a single crochet and then close it up together. So make it like a long panel, close it up together here, and then sew it in around the base, and then it would actually be even stiffer. So anyway, I hope you like that. I'm gonna flip the camera here so you can see me and I can answer questions or whatever. Hey. So I hope you guys like that basket. I talked about it a while ago, and that I wanted to make one on here, and so I thought I've just got to hurry and get this done. So You'd make that for your kitty? Yeah, it would be fun, you know, hopefully, unless it's a very destructive kitty, but you know, not all kitties are destructive. So they probably have a lot of fun just bouncing around in it and playing, and you know, you could put some of those little balls, the jingle bells inside. That would be kind of fun, right? So anyway, just use your imagination. But the big blanket yarn is really fun to work, and then I just used the big 25mm hook, and anyway, well, I hope you enjoyed that tutorial on how to make your basket. I would love to see the pictures of the things that you make if you post them on the Good Knit Kisses Facebook page, and then I can share away as well. I will share your stuff with everybody who watches my stuff. So anyway, thank you again for joining me at Good Knit Kisses. Have a great day and happy crochet. Bye, y'all. So part of that will be used for the video. I'm a sweaty mess here. So I thank y'all for joining me for the part 2. I've been kind of all over the place. This week has been really crazy with things happening. My car, my kids. So anyway, you have 2 and that live to snuggle and or like to snuggle in blankets, Chris. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, Mark Johnson. So if you look at the video up to part 1, it's actually like a very low, kind of bowed out sort of baskety bowl, like a short, almost like a dish, you know. So you could even make that with another like really stiff or hard material and make it like a cool display basket on a table. But if you want to use it for yarn, you could even display like a whole bunch of balls of yarn or specialty yarn or something, make it like a display thing. Because I actually do that on my dining table. I'll display yarn instead of food. Because we don't use our dining table as often, and every time I'm using it, it's because I'm having my knit or crochet group meeting, and so I think it's very appropriate to have that out in the middle as a centerpiece. So anyway, yeah. Anyway, thank you guys again for joining me. I hope you did like it. I hope you didn't think, oh my gosh, that's weird. You know, you never know what people are gonna like what you make. So anyway, thanks again for joining me. Give me some hearts if you liked it. All right, we'll talk to you later and join you tomorrow for the social media crafty day. If you have any questions on that, please go back to last Friday and write replay and ask your question on the last replay from last Friday, and I will try to get to that answer tomorrow. If you want me to look at your Etsy store, please give me the link to your Etsy store. Don't tell me your name, but give me the link to your store and I will look at it, and maybe we can kind of go over it tomorrow. So bye everyone. Have a great day.